Good evening, everyone. Tonight we still have a monk as well as a nun still with us. Those who came to attend the Katina ceremony. And our Katina also went very well. Particularly, the weather was so good. No wind and no rain. And a little bit of sunshine as well. It was warm and everybody cheering, happy, and I got the feedback that those who use the garden room, they enjoyed it much, very much. So kind of they didn't want to leave when I called them to come to the barn for the service. So addicted. So like that. So when we have good weather, we are happy. When we don't have a good weather, bad weather, then we are not happy. But this weather is something that happens on its own way. We have no control over it. But because of that, it's normally affects to our mental state and how we react to it. So it's a matter of how we realize and aware of that and ability to deal with that mindfully. If we have mindfulness, then it will have a less impact. If we are not mindful, then we will get more impact, and that's how it causes trouble. And sometimes when we haven't seen the effect of it, we enjoy, and once the effect comes, then we feel like I should not have done that one, or if I have known this is the result, I would not have touched it. Kind of that sort of things happen. Like a few years ago, because of too many coffees I was taking, I stopped it, and it was so difficult for a whole month, and somehow managed to get by, and then now going back to the same routine. So now again, whenever I feel like a little bit of a headache in the morning, then I will reflect, why am I having this headache? And then normally it reflects, oh, yesterday I didn't have coffee. So it's conditioned again. So and now I'm trying my best to reduce it as much as possible, and hoping that my coffee is something that I can take it whenever I want it, not that I should take it. And without it, I will be troublesome, having a headache, so like that. That's not a good way. So, in a similar way, I remember there was one very bad student, behaving very naughty all the time in the school, and he was given so many notices, and yet he wasn't doing anything. And then he was behaving very badly, and somehow after a couple of years later, he didn't finish his school, but he decided to become a monk. And then all the teachers said, oh, that's very good. A trouble is gone. But the trouble came to the monastery. But however, again, with the environment in the temple, gradually he changed his behavior and become kind of a decent monk. A decent monk, but still keeping the same similar attitude and behaviors, but compared to the past, much better. So like that. So this is how it happens, that even like normal in our normal life, we spend a lot of time thinking about what I'm going to get, how I'm going to get, how much I'm going to get, like that. Particularly in modern time, we become a slave to the time, and we become kind of a slave to our own work, and we measure with the income that we receive. And if we do not get enough, then what happens? We put the petition, or we want it to be increased, like that. And eventually it's too much, and so what happens? It's too much for me, so I will change the job. That happens. So this is what I'm saying here basically is that when we have spent a lot of time and then we see its effects into the negative ways, then we realize that that's affecting our physical body, our physical well-being, as well as the mental well-being. Then normally we know when to change. We know how to change. We know how to stop, like that. And then we simply just put it away, and then we look forward to something else to relax or to find ways that makes us happy. So this turning point, how do we realize that turning point? So this turning point is the mark that really changes how we look at the things and how we want to move on to our next step, so that would bring us happiness, both physical well-being as well as mental well-being, and in the meantime we can live a comfortable life too. So it's only possible when we realize this turning point, that it's too much now, it's enough, so I want to change, I want to move on. And this moving on is something that we have to look at on, and with that again, oftentimes it's something that despite we have known it, because of the conditions, it's so difficult to come out from it. We still have to be in it. It's like the job that you dislike very much, but you can't find another job yet. So you have to be with that. So similarly, we come across with so many other feelings and emotions and experiences that we come across. At that time, we just need to compromise. And that compromise actually is another turning point that keeps us happy in both ways and not torturing ourselves. So that's why when we do in that way, what's happening is, although the job that I am doing is not good and I'm not happy with that, but seeing the effect of it, that this is actually helping me into certain states. So with that, then we can move on to the happy and comfortable kind of working together, working for our own happiness. And this requires a lot of meditation, so kind of a mindfulness as well, which Buddha often use it as try to be mindful in every moment of every thoughts and feelings that's taking place. So if we can maintain our awareness into this situation, and then whatever we are seeing it, whatever we are experiencing it, then it really brings the happiness. Oftentimes what happens that we meditate, or when we are meditating, we focus on something so strictly that we are stuck on it, and then if something happens, something changes, and then we feel unhappy. Whereas the practice of a meditation is not just to getting this state of a calmness or a peace, or just staying in one state, but ability to improve into the wisdom, so that we can deal with that. That's why the Buddha's instruction here in the practice of a meditation is that first of all, find sometimes a solitude for yourself, or break away from all the hustles and bustles or troubles, and just leave yourself alone and spend some time to yourself and watching the body and your feelings and emotions. And then the second is that you have to have enough information about how to be staying in this solitude. And because when we are living in a solitude, the less the noise or the distractions are, the more the troubles occurs in our mind. So we will become a more chatter, there will be more information chatting there takes place. So in that case, we got to be very mindful of that how to deal with that. And then this dealing, aware of these, when we are dealing with that, what happens next is that after we have fully understood, it just drops away. So that enough information is needed to practice as well. And not only the enough information is there, but also we have to have a clear instruction that how to use it. Just like we have a tool to practice, so we have to know how to use those tools properly, so that we can get the proper benefit from it. So these are, when we talk about the tools, then it is, rather than thinking of the outside, got to be coming back to our own self, body and mind and feelings and emotions. So starting off with the awareness of the body, which start from the breath, and then gradually moving on to this feelings and mental states, our mind. And here again, when we know this, that the breath or this body actually what it is, and we realize that this should not be too attached to it. We should not be attached to it either. And especially the emotions and feelings, we should not be attached to it either. And when we are practicing, gradually the physical body and whatever sensations or whatever feelings or whatever concepts or perceptions we have onto these feelings, it drops away. And then a feeling, and then a feelings, and then mind itself as well. The moment when we able to recognize this true nature of this mind, what happens that whatever is making and causing or taking its place in that moment, it just happens, this is happening, okay, it just drops. Right? So that's how we will be able to drop that off, and we will be free from any troublesomes, and there will be no trouble with any other things that coming across with us. And then in the life, whatever trouble comes, we will be able to deal with that peacefully. And that's how the meditation will bring more benefit for us too. So I offer this as a reflection for tonight, and let's practice meditation.